I'm Michelle Sharon. Thanks for spending time with me today. Today I want to talk about being honest with yourself. Being honest with yourself. A lot of times I hear people talk about themselves and um, they're not really being honest, right? And so, what do you mean by that? So sometimes people and a lot of times I hear it when there's conflict, right? And so someone can be in conflict and they're maybe upset with someone, or they're upset with the way that somebody um, handled them or handled something about them. And they perceive themselves, or they have a self perception that they are different than who they really are. And so it then rolls into why they feel the person shouldn't have treated them the way that they did. So I really think it's important that we are all honest with ourselves. What does that mean? So being honest with yourself means really sitting quietly, which a lot of people don't do anymore, but really sitting quietly and really discovering who we are. Who am I as a person, right? Michelle, who are you? What are the things that you actually enjoy versus the things that somebody told you enjoy, or the things that you have to do because life has put it that way, but it's not something you genuinely enjoy? What are some of the things that make you tick? What are some of the things that annoy you? What are some of the things that you could do for the rest of your life and never get paid for it? What are some of the things that really trigger you or really make you feel hurt? What are the things that hurt your feelings? What are the things that, um, what is your makeup? Right? I hear people all the time talking about introverts or extroverts and not really knowing the meaning of what those two things are. Or people call themselves all types of categories or names of things and not really understanding the truth behind the words that they're using. And so being honest with yourself helps in a lot of ways, because then once you're honest with yourself, then you can begin to be honest with other people, right? And so this has been a journey that I've been on since I was in the eighth grade, actually. My English teacher, who we butted heads a lot, but she was an amazing teacher. She really, really got me into literature. She really helped me, I think, to understand how to really see the author behind the book. She really taught us about not just looking at, that Red Riding Hood's dress was red, but why was it red? What did the red signify? Why did she have on a dress? And really delving into the meanings behind the meanings. And this is something that I was doing in the eighth grade. And she really got me, I think really was really a part of why and how I see things the way that I do. And so I remember that one of the books she had us read was called Siddhartha. And Siddhartha is a book that really has some roots in like Buddhism. And it's about a young man who is looking to find or reach a place called Nirvana. And he has all of these ideas about what Nirvana is. And basically Nirvana is like the highest place, your highest self, right? And so reaching this place, moving through life to find the highest self that you can possibly be. And so she taught about all of the different themes about within the book, so that we could really understand this journey that he was on. And so one thing that I told myself in the eighth grade, I said, that's a place that I want to reach. I want to reach my highest and best self. This is in the eighth grade. And so I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't even know what it looked like. I knew that in this book, Siddhartha, that's what he was doing. And so I said, you know what? I want to do that, because up until that point in my life, there were so many things that had happened in my life, so many things that had happened around me. And they really were, I believe, trying to create me or change who I was meant to be into somebody else, right? And I was already recognizing the change. Some of the same things had happened to some of my friends, and I realized the change that it had made with them. And I remember in the eighth grade, I remember making a declarative in my mind to say, I'm not going to let what happens to me become who I am. I remember that. And I remember saying I was always going to be honest with who I was, so that I could be mindful and make changes when things came up that were going to change who I wanted to be. And so I've been on this path really of really understanding who I am. I've read a lot of books. I've done tons of quizzes. I've done talked to lots of people just to really understand, because just being honest with myself to say, okay, this is how, let's just say, for example, I am definitely an introvert, right? And so introvert doesn't mean that I don't like people. I actually love people. Actually, all of my favorite jobs have been with interacting with people. So I love people. I love to serve people. I love to be available to people. What I, as an introvert, means is that I have to recharge by myself. I value my silence and my alone time so highly, right? And I have seen when I have not been able to recharge my battery by myself as an introvert, that I am no good to anybody else. And that really was grieving me, because this is something that I say I love. I say I love being, I love serving people. I love being around people. I love listening to people and interacting with people. But I was not able to do it to my fullest capacity if I had not had my alone time, right? If I hadn't had that time set aside where I was able to really recharge and hear my own thoughts. That's the meaning of introvert. And so I recognize that, in these relationships, when I had friends, or I have sisters, right? And so I would get home from a long day working with people, talking with people, and just be drained. And I would get home and I can't wait, right? My drive home, I can't wait to be quiet and just hear my own thoughts, just to recharge. And I would get a phone call. And I would get a phone call from somebody that I absolutely love, right? Be one of my sisters. And they would be talking, and as much as I love them and as much as I wanted to hear what they had to say, I did not have it in me to be able to hear what they had to say. And so sometimes I would be, short, or I would give them short answers, or I would really not be really responsive, or not just be the lively person that they knew me to be. And so when I recognized this about myself, and I was honest with about this to myself, then I had to say, okay, Michelle, either you're going to make a decision to, if you know that you're not recharged or you're drained, don't answer the phone, right? Don't do it. Just don't answer the phone, because you're not going to show up as your highest and best self. So you know this about yourself. You're being honest. So just don't answer the phone. Or another thing I would do is I would say, okay, the people that I really wanted to be in my space, and I know that I didn't have anything to give, I would let them out and say, hey, listen, it's time for me to recharge. So I will listen to you, but please don't ask me to say anything, right? And if that's not okay, give me 2 hours. And I promise you, I will be the best person that you have ever seen, and we will continue our loving relationship. But if I try and speak to you right now, it is not going to be the person that you want. So either give me 2 hours, or I will listen to you, but just don't ask me to say anything. And it gives, because I'm honest with myself, it gives other people the room to make a decision about what they want to do, right? It gives them room to make a decision about who, do they want to talk to me right now? Or do they want to wait until they can have all of me, right? And so it gives room for me to not hurt anybody's feelings, the other person's feelings to not be hurt, and we're all on the same page so that we can continue to value our relationship. And so being honest with yourself allows you to then be honest with other people. It also shows room for improvement, because, when you get into, when I became a mom, well, you don't always get to say, hey, I need introvert time. But what I did do was I did teach my son, hey, mommy needs quiet right now. And because I was able to tell him what I needed, even when I'm talking about when he was a toddler, I would tell him, hey, mommy needs a few minutes. He learned how to honor those few minutes, right? Because I knew what I needed. I knew that I wasn't going to be the best mother to him if he continued to talk to me. And I was tired, right? And so I would tell him, son, I love you. And I can't wait to hear the stories that you want to tell me. But can you just give me 10 minutes? Just give me 10 minutes and mommy's going to be so happy to hear what you have to say. And he learned to honor that. Right? And then literally I had to take him up in those 10 minutes. I had to gather myself. And after 10 minutes, I was like, okay, baby, mommy's ready. Tell me what's happening. What's going on? Tell me the story. I can't wait to hear it. Right? And so because I was honest with myself, I was able to be honest with the people around me. It also makes room for God and our spirituality. So when we have spiritual people, or we're in a relationship with God, and God said once puts his finger on something and says, "Hey, Michelle, that place in you is really ugly. You know, you need to work on that place, or we can work on it together." Then I can be honest. I'm not gonna say, "God, do you know what you're talking about? This is awesome about me." No, I'm able to say, "Okay, God, if you see it, I may not see it, right? I may not see where it's an ugly place in me. I may not see where it's something that needs to change. But because I'm honest with myself to say, you know what, I know I'm not perfect, and somebody else may be able to see things that I can't see, I'm able to be open to say, okay, God, I don't see it, but because you see it, show me what you want me to do. Show me how you want me to change. Show me, show me what you want me to do, or show how I can be, show up differently. So be honest with yourself. Take the time to learn who you are, separate from everybody else, separate from, you know, everybody's expectations of you. And it really takes time, you just being quiet, getting off social media, don't talk to other people, because a lot of times those things are distracting us from what we're really supposed to do, which is to take time with ourselves and take time for our God, right? And so take the time to just be quiet. Take the time to really say, Michelle, how are you feeling? How did you feel about that? What did you think about that? Why do you think they responded that way? Why do you think I responded that way? How do you want to move forward? What do you want to do about this situation? What are my goals next time? How am I going to make things different? Or how am I going to remain the same? Because it is not only serving me, but it's also serving the people that are around me that mean the most. So being honest with yourself is one thing that has been a key tool on my path to nirvana, or the highest place, or the place that God really created me to be, without all of the stuff that has come, or without all of the experiences that have tried to come and shake me, or tried to come and, make me into somebody else. Being honest, being quiet has really allowed me to know all of the things, but still make a decision every single day to show up as the best person I could possibly be. So, as always, I want to hear your thoughts. Go ahead, leave a comment, subscribe, follow, do the things. But I am so excited to be able to share with you, and just hoping that something that is being shared will help you on your path to the life and the person that you're supposed to be.